Hello students, in today's class we are going to study classes and methods. Okay, in previous video we have already seen classes and functions. See, classes and methods and classes and functions. Functions which is declared outside class, a piece of code which is declared outside a class, it is called a function, and if that function is declared inside a class is called method. Okay, so we have already studied in Java that classes have attributes and methods which operates on attributes, right? Now here object oriented features which has these defining characteristics. First, a program includes class and methods definition. Yes, in a object oriented program it should have a class definition and a method definition. Most of the computation is expressed in terms of operation on objects. So most of the time this computation is expressed in terms of operation on objects. See, we have seen that everything is an object in Java, right? So if it is object oriented programming language, then everything will revolve around objects. Objects are often represent things in a real world. I have told you that the differences between procedure oriented and object oriented, that procedure oriented concentrated more on procedures and object oriented concentrated more on objects. So here objects will be created by using a real world entity, by considering as real world entity. See, that's why the object often represent the real world entity, and methods often correspond to the way things interact with the real world object. So methods are also are always declared under a particular class. Methods are semantically same as functions, but there are two differences, key differences. First one is methods are defined inside a class definition in order to make relationship between class and method explicit. See, if a function is declared under a class, it becomes a method and it defines a relationship between a class and a method. Okay, and here functions are declared outside the class. And another difference, the syntax for invoking method is different from syntax of invoking functions. Okay, you are invoking function directly with the function name, but here the methods will be invoked using a dot operator called by its object. Now we'll see a method that we have already seen in the previous chapter, print time. So here class time, here we have a class time, okay, which represent a class, and it is an empty class, and we are defining a function here. See, it is not a method, it is not a method here, because see, indentation is same as your class indentation, that's why. So print time method, so the not method, function, which is now taking time object as a parameter, then it is printing hour, minutes and seconds. So if you want to declare this function inside a class, what you need to do is you need to give a proper indentation. See, in a class time you are giving a indentation, and here you are defining this print time. Same thing, same definition, but here what you need to do, you need to give one indentation like this. Okay, then it comes under class. All of you know what is indentation, right? Now there are two ways to call this print time. If you call like this, where time dot print time dot start, it will call as a function, so print time is declared under a class called time, and it takes one argument called start. So we'll see this one here. What is this start? See here we are declaring one start, so it is not visible to you. See, we are declaring here start, which is the object of time class, and it is having hour, minute and seconds. Hour is of 9 time, minute 45 and second is 0. Now what you're doing is print time start. Okay, this function is declared outside the class, that's why you can directly call a function and this object. Now if it is declared under a class, and if you call time dot print time start, start has hour as 9 and minutes as 45 and seconds as 0. So whenever you call time dot start and pass this object of time as an argument, then it will print what was the time. Then here you can call this method as a function, see, the first way is to use a function syntax. So this is what function syntax. If you want to call a method syntax, here what you need to do, you need to have a object name. Start is a object of a class called time, right? So object name dot operator, then print time. So you will ask one question here, sir, print time is taking one object, right? One object, but you are not one parameter, but you are not passing any parameter, still it is giving you output. Yes, I will explain you in upcoming slide, okay, why it is like this. Now see, you know, two methods. First one is like calling a method like a function and calling a method like a method using dot operator. Okay, now printing object. See, in this use of dot notation, print time is a name of the method, yes, and start is a object the method is invoked on. That we already know, that we have already studied in Java, which is called a subject. See here, start is an object of a class called time, and on this we are calling print time. In this context, this start is called subject. Why? On subject we are performing, in science also, on subject we are performing operations, right? So here start become a subject. Now subject, inside the method the subject is assigned to first parameter. So in this case start is assigned to time. That's why you have not passed any parameter here. What happens is, the object that you are calling is passed as a first parameter to a method called print time. So that's why this start will be passed as a parameter to this print time. If you try to write here any other object name, start to example, so it will throw you error, parameter count error. So it will take two parameters, first start and start2, okay, but print time takes only one parameter. So here if you call like this, start will be assigned to, which is object of a time, assigned to this time parameter. That's why we have not written here any parameter value. Okay, by convention here, all the methods that you are declaring under a class must and should call itself. First parameter should have a self, but first parameter should have self call. See here why. By convention, the first parameter of the method is called self. So it would be more common to write print time like this. See, print time like this. If you write print time like this, here the first parameter is self. Self means object of time class called time. Okay, so it is not necessary that each and every parameter should be like this. Each and every method should have this parameter, but if you don't have, you cannot call this method as a method on objects. Are you understanding? See, instead of this self, if you don't have this self, if you have just a print time, here what happens is, if you want to try to call this print time, suppose you want to call print time here, start dot print time underscore time. Here you cannot call like this, because print time doesn't take any self objects, means object of a class called time. So here in this case you cannot call this method as a method syntax. To call this method using method syntax, you cannot call this method. Okay, so this method cannot be called as a using method syntax, but you can call this method using function syntax. Function syntax, see, time dot print time, like this you can call, but you cannot call as a method syntax. So it is not necessary that all the methods should have self parameter, but if it has a self parameter, this means you can call these methods using method syntax. Otherwise you need to call methods, these functions, with function syntax. Okay, now see, let me explain you again. There are two types of methods for calling these methods. One is using function syntax, another one is method syntax. See, method syntax where you are using your object name dot the method name. Here in function syntax you are just writing the class name where this method resides, then method name, then the object that it takes. Okay, if it doesn't take any parameter, no parameters. If it doesn't have first parameter as a self parameter, then you cannot call this method using method syntax. You can call that method as functions using function syntax. Understood? See here, by convention the first parameter of the method is called self, so it would be more common to write print time like this. So here always in Python first parameter will be self. Okay, so we'll see another example here. You have seen this increment method in previous video, increment, where we are incrementing, we are converting the entire time into integers, okay, seconds, then we are converting it back to adding some numbers to that seconds, then converting that seconds to integer number to time. So if you want to know about this increment method, refer my previous video. So in this what we are doing is we are declaring this increment method inside a class called time. So here what are you doing? First parameter, actually in increment method that we have already studied in the previous chapter, it takes two parameters. One is the time object and second parameter is the number of seconds it want to increment. Okay, so here what we are doing, it takes time object, that's why you are declaring here self. Then it takes number of seconds to be added, that's why you are taking here seconds. Okay, so whenever you are need to increment, what you do, you don't pass two parameters to increment. You need to write like this. If you want to call this method outside, what you need to do, start the first parameter actually dot increment, then the second parameter, second one is number of seconds that you want to increment. I want to increment 20 seconds, 120 seconds. So here this start will be passed as a first argument to this self, and 120 will be passed as a second argument to this seconds. Understood? Actually it takes two parameters, right? The first parameter will be object on it was called, so it has a self reference, that's why you can call using method syntax. Now let me delete it first. Okay, now here how you invoke it, see, start dot print time, it will print that time. Now end is equal to start dot increment 1337. Now you had this print time, right? You had this start value, then you are incrementing 1337 seconds to this time. So what is this start? Start is this one, right? See, start will be passed as a first argument to this self. Then what you are doing is second is equal to second plus self dot time into int. You are converting entire time into integer, then you are adding the seconds to that integer, then you are converting those seconds into time that we have already studied in previous chapter. Refer my previous video. Now end dot print, see, after adding 1337 seconds, it becomes, the time becomes 10:07:17. Okay, coming to next slide, a more complicated example. In previous chapter you have seen that we have seen one method called isAfter, where this method, this function already we have seen in previous chapter, that function actually takes two parameters. One is, and these two parameters are time objects, both are time objects. Here I have told you that if you are declaring a method which takes first argument as self object, then second as some different one. What if you want two parameters to be the self objects, object of class time? At that time, see, what you need to do is you need to have like this, self other, self other, self and other. This is how you declare in Python. Three objects, you can have another one. comma something. Okay, comma something like rt, tr something. Third one. So this will be of type third object, but it is not necessary that this will be, third one will be, must and should be of type class called time. Okay, it can be anything, but if you declare like this, self comma other, here self will be the time object and other will be time object. This is the syntax in Python. See now, here in the previous chapter, isAfter method was comparing two time objects which is chronologically in order or not. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are passing two time objects. So to call this method isAfter, first we need to call object of class time, then we need to pass again object of class time. What happens actually, this end is an object of class called time and start is object of class called time. We'll see here, see here in this, see end is object of a class time, then start is object of a class time, that you have already seen in my previous video. So let me show you here functions. See here we had this isAfter method where t1 was a time object, t2 was another time object, and t1, see time 2, and I have passed this time as a first parameter and time 2 as a second parameter to isAfter, and this time will be passed here and this time 2 will be passed here, then they are compared. Time 1 is compared with time 2. So what we are doing is we are calling one object called end, which is of type start, and which is a object of type called class time, then start another object of class called time. Here you are calling isAfter, means the first end will be passed as a first parameter to this self and this start will be passed as a second parameter to this other. Then we are comparing these two. If it is greater than this, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. Okay, see, if you are passing two time objects, we are taking a class called time, that's why I'm talking about time objects. So if you are passing two time objects, how to pass? See, you should not write like this in end comma start. This will throw you error. This will throw you a error. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to take a object of a time which we need to transfer as a first argument first, then use a dot operator, call the method name, then the object, second object, you need to pass as a second argument. You need to write here. Okay, it's bit complicated. By practice you can easily understand it. See, this is done. Now moving further, the init method, it's same like your constructor in Java. We have studied constructors in Java which initialize objects upon creation. See, init method is a special method that gets invoked when an object is instantiated. Whenever you want to instantiate an object, this method will be called, like constructor. So init is actually short form of initialization. So here the syntax of this init is what? 2 underscores, then init followed by again 2 underscores. Okay, then we have again, it takes self object, same object of a class called time, then it will have parameters, it will initialize parameters. So if here hour will be initialized to some 0, minute will be initialized to 0, second will be initialized to 0. What is this? It is confusing, right? See, if user doesn't specify, if user just create object called time here, see, of a class called time, and it is not here to the constructor, we are not passing any parameters, then the default values for attributes called hour, minutes and seconds will be 0, 0, 0. Understood? 0, 0, 0. Here in constructor, whatever the parameter names that you have, hour, minute and second, will be same as your attribute names. Same as your attribute names. So these are your attributes and these are your parameters. So attributes are initialized to your parameters. Okay, now self dot hour means whatever the object that you are passing. So in this case, the time dot hour, this time will be passed as a self here. Then time dot hour initializes to 0, time dot minute initializes to 0, then time dot second initializes to 0, because we are not calling any of the parameter. If you write just like 9, only one parameter, what happens? Only one parameter. At that time, what happens is time dot hour will be 9. This default value will be ignored. Okay, so time dot hour will be 9, time dot minutes will be 0 because we are not passing any value for minutes, and time dot seconds will be 0. Suppose if you pass like this, comma 12, then time dot hour will be 9, time dot minutes will be 12, and time dot seconds will be 0. If you pass again, comma 10, then hour will be 9, minute will be 12, and seconds will be 10. Understood? If you don't pass anything here, so when you print a time, you will get everything as 0. So it is very easy. It's like your constructors that you have already studied in Java. Okay. Now we'll see another method called str method. I have told you that in Java, whenever you create an object, suppose my box is equal to new box. Then suppose you want to print that object, system.out.println my box. What it will show? It will show you the address, right? So if you want to describe that object, what you have done in Java, you have used a toString method. ToString method that returns a string object, that returns a string representation of object. Now toString method we were using to describe an object. Same thing here, underscore str followed by underscore method. It is like your toString method, and it is, and see, it's a special method like init that is supposed to return a string representation of an object, So same like toString method, here str method describes an object. For example, here is str method of a time object. Now inside a class, if you had define a str method, then see also this str method also takes a self object, okay, the object of a class called time. Then what it is returning? It is just describing what time it is. See, same thing that we have used in print time. See, let me show you. In print time we have used this one, right? The same thing we are using in str method to print a time. It's called format specifier actually, that we have already seen in previous chapters. Now whenever we are creating, see, object time 9:45, so hour will be initialized to 9, and minutes will be initialized to 45, and seconds will be initialized to 0. Whenever you are printing this time, they say this print is not our print time. Print time is different, that we have declared, okay, and this print is Python's method, and you are trying to print the object of a class called time, and the object name is time itself. See here. So when you print this time, you are getting what? This object, right? This representation. Suppose I had a file. Suppose I had this file. I have already have this one here. So this is the final file actually. What I will do is I will just remove all those things. I will just remove this, and I have created this. See, I have created a object of a time class. Okay, object of a time class. Now what we are doing is, this is not necessary that you should have like this. There are different ways. Now 9 and 45. So start is of, where start is initialized to 9, and hour is initialized to 9, and minute is initialized to 45, and second is initialized to 0. Now I try to print start. What will happen? See, so you will get that address. address of time object. See, this is a time object, start is a time object, and it stores, you are printing the time object, then you will get the output where it is stored. It is stored on this location. You don't want this thing, you want to represent, describe your object. At that time, what you do is, you need to have this str method. Okay, let me declare this inside the class. See, if I declare this inside a class, and create an object, then print the object, what will happen? It will just print the time. So you don't want to print a time, you just want a string. So at that time, what I will do, just see, it's a time object. Right now, if I run this, what will be the message? It's a time object. See, you have created object and you are describing the object. So it's a time object, like your toString method, same method you have used in Java. So in next class, we are going to study operator overloading, type-based dispatch, and polymorphism, and the entire program from your printing objects to your init str. Okay, so in next video I'm going to explain the entire program. Today you have studied bits of that program, where to, how to have init, how to have str, and how to declare a method inside a class. In next class, entire program we are going to study. Okay, so I will stop here. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.